Yes, people, what's going on? What's going on, man? We're back with another live, man. Aye, we have a banging panel today, a banging panel that I've had in mind for a minute. We've got some controversial guys here like CB. You've got Carefree Lewis, still having nightmares about Poch. Poch is gone, bro. Don't worry. He's gone, man. He's got a new haircut now as well. And you've got level-headed Nina, man. You know what I mean? So I think it's gonna be a good show, good balance and whatnot. You know what I mean? We've got a few debuts as well. Lewis, first time on the channel. Big up, bro. What you say, man?
Yeah, big up, man. It's been good to finally hop on here. I know we've been trying to pattern the stream for the last few weeks, and apologies because I've been a fucking mess when it's come to that. But it's good to be on. Shout out CB, Nina. Big up everybody locked in. Hit the likes, all of that. And yeah, good to be on the channel.
Therefore. We've got another debut with Nina as well. Nina, what's happening? You good?
Yeah, all good. Happy to be on. It's been a while.
And CB, what you saying, my bro, man? It's been a while. This CB brother is always on holiday, I swear to God. I've got this guy on Snapchat, yeah, and every week he's in a different destination. He's even sipping on some Echo Fools right now. What you saying, bro? You good?
I've been running away from Chelsea, man. It's a vacation for me as well. We ain't kicking a ball for a couple months. I was like, let me get out of here, man. It's a mess. But yeah, I'm happy to be back, man. I made sure this is the first stream since in like 2-3 months I've actually been on YouTube, and I made sure it'd be with you, man. It's overdue. You've been stressing me out on Twitter, if I'm being honest.
You already know it's love every time, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%.
You get too emotional, you know what I mean? But we're gonna get into it anyway, yeah. As it is right now, we've got 43 people watching. We've got a few people in the live. Big yourself up. Gaming for life. Big up Don and the rest of the panel. Big yourself up, my bro. Big up the panel. Big up Yaka as well. Listen, road to 2K, people. We're coming soon, man. And listen, as soon as I touch 2K, I'm definitely gonna do like a live call-in. Because a few people have asked me about that. So I'll probably get one of these guys as a guest on there as well. And you can speak to us and just give us your thoughts, man. Because I like to get various opinions of things. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, we just want the best for the club, But we've got quite a few things to speak about today, man. Chelsea are never quiet in a transfer window. We've had more rumors. We're looking at more Brazilians. We've got a massive update at the minute with Neil Bath, who for me is a Chelsea legend, man. This guy, the players that he's brought through at Chelsea from the academy is ridiculous. You know what I mean? The quality of players that he's brought through at Chelsea, and he's actually decided to move on from the club. So CB, man, what do you think of the news about Neil Bath? Wanting to move on from Chelsea, bro.
Well, like that's just another domino falling, really, with just the identity and the culture of our club leaving since Roman's left. You look at the team over the last 2 years, the club as a whole. Everyone that would kind of push the culture and the ethos, the winning mentality within the team, slowly and surely been leaving. And this is just the next piece of the domino to fall. It's not really shocking for me. I feel like I look at the academy because I see in the brief that I was really surprised that they left off their own accord. I thought it was a thing where it was like contract terminations or stuff like that. But for them to take a step back themselves, I look at that and I think to myself, I've been looking at the academy lately over the last 2 years, and other than Conor Gallagher, who you could argue was kind of from the Roman era, who's really broken through into the first team as a regular. Alfie Gilchrist, he was a kind of a squad that's sporadic player, and he's going on loan. It's looking like, so I understand really, because you look at the new signings that they're bringing in, a lot of the Brazilian boys, the Paes, the Stavios, the Cassava now, who were linked to. It's looking as if there's not really a pathway for the academy anymore. So they're probably, after being there for 20 years, are looking at it like, this is really a change of environment for me. I'm not used to working in this way. So it's best for me to take a step back. And if that's the case, I wish them the best, and I wish us the best as well.
No, I hear that, man. But listen, Lewis, what do you think of CB's thoughts, man? Because CB, he makes some good points. These are guys that have been at the club for a minute. I think he's been at the club now for nearly 30 years, isn't it? So he's seen a lot of guys
for a while.
Been there for a minute. But one of the things that CB just said is that maybe they don't see a pathway for more of the youth to come through. But this is a problem that we had with Roman. You know what I'm saying? And if it wasn't for that transfer ban, bro, a lot of these players that we see right now, Reece James, Mason Mount, Tammy, we don't know where they might have ended up if it wasn't for that transfer ban, because we never used to bring players through anyway. So what's your thoughts on what CB just said there about them potentially leaving because there's no pathway, and what do you think of Neil Bath leaving as well, man?
Look, apparently it was an amicable departure. We're still not too sure about the reasons for it, so I'm not gonna lose my head this early, especially about someone who, like, I heard a little bit about, but no one was really talking about Neil Bath for a week ago, respectfully. So I'm not going to start losing my head until I hear the full details on it. But at least Joe Shields is going to be the guy leading the recruitment team in terms of finding the next guy. And I believe in Joe Shields at the very least. So,
Facts.
yeah, like, we've had a couple players come through our academy, like Ruben, Christensen, Terry, and even Christensen we bought from someone else. Obviously, a couple other players through the transfer ban, but Mount and James would have had their opportunity as well. Even Sari said he was going to use them, but it's only been a couple names, like you said. So don't really know how to feel about it personally. Like, I get it. People who are already heavily critical of the ownership are going to look at it as a domino effect. I understand that. Like, I get it. Because we still don't know. It could be for a negative reason. It could be for a positive reason. I'm not going to act like it's overly positive. I'm just not going to act like it's the end of the world either. Because
exactly.
A lot of like massive academy players come through from Chelsea. You're looking at John Terry, Ruben, Christensen, Mount, James, Tammy, maybe Gallagher. That's about it for the good ones. Like, and they're all like the last 5 years, not even the last 30 for most of them. So
exactly.
Yeah.
No, you make some good points. You do make some good points. You do make some good points. And the thing that I'm happy about is the fact that Sam Jewell, the guy that's come from Brighton, we know Brighton have got a good scouting network. Yeah, we brought him in. I think it was last season, innit? We brought him in towards the end, and then he started this year, right? And then you've got obviously Joe Shields, who brought in the likes of Palmer, brought in Lavia to the country. He was trying to bring in Olise. But Nina, this guy from Sky, what's his name? Cave. He said Neil Bath approached Chelsea a few months ago and told them that he was considering leaving the club after 28 years. Now, I think the owners and everybody at the club wanted him to stay. They recognize the incredible work that he's done at the club, and he's been responsible for bringing through a golden generation of players, like we've already spoken about. But I think Neil made it clear that he wanted a break. He wanted a new challenge, and the first thing he wants to do is take a holiday. So he's basically said, it's kind of like an end of an era for him. He's looking to kind of move on, take a little bit of a break, and then we don't know where he's gonna end up. What do you think, Nina, of a lot of the people within the fan base who literally just use any bit of news, any bit of negativity to flip it round and use that as their narrative towards the towards the owners because they don't like them?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's easy for like your first thought to be that this is like the owners doing, because frankly, when they came through the door, they made it clear that they wanted to build their own slate. So it made sense for them to, in order to build their name as the new owners at Chelsea, to get rid of a lot of backroom staff as they did. So I think it's on first look, looking at this story and seeing that Neil Bath after 30 years has chose to leave Chelsea, it's easy to say that this was the owners, but maybe he's just realized that either the academy is no longer going to be one that the owners look at and think, yeah, we're looking for those breakout stars to come into the first team, because I think ultimately Neil Bath, with his agenda for taking care of the academy and the development squad, that they wanted to make sure that the Chelsea's academy was among the academy that had most stars essentially coming through. I think it's obviously clear with the new direction that we're going in, recruiting the world's, the young stars from the whole world, that perhaps, we're not really interested in perhaps what the academy can produce, and perhaps it's taken a different direction. So, yeah, it's not wild to think that Neil Bath just wants to move on. He's obviously been here before Roman. We're talking about longevity here. We're talking about building something from the ground, but maybe he's just not happy with where the direction with the academy is going, and perhaps he doesn't think that his efforts are being valued as well, maybe. So yeah, it's not wild to think that someone that's worked at Chelsea for so long wants to move on, wants a different challenge. But yeah, I do agree with Lewis that it's easy to kind of look at the owners and say you're getting rid of everyone that's made this club successful.
Yeah, exactly. Facts. Well, CB, what do you think about that? Because this is someone that hates the owners, everything that they do, he always cooks them. But what do you think of what Nina just said, CB?
No, I get what you're saying. It's very easy to shut everyone up. Just win. Just be successful. Like I saw one of the super chats that just came up before. They said, yeah, no one cared when we were winning. That's the key point, though. we were winning. Now that we're not winning and there's been so much change, it's natural for the fans to be skeptical with the amount of change that's been happening and link the change with the fact that since things have been changing, we haven't been winning anymore. So maybe the change is the reason. So every time things change even more, naturally the fan base are going to be a bit skeptical. But I do agree with you. We have to build from the ground up.
No, definitely, man. But listen, one of the main things I want to kind of speak about is obviously what's been going on with the window so far, because we've made a few signings. And I saw your tweet the other day, CB. You spoke about you're not happy with the signings that we've made so far. You've rated it a 2 out of 10 so far. You know, I don't want people to kind of rate it at the minute because I think it's a little bit too early, man. I think there's a long way to go. And we know, let's be real about it, CB. As much as you don't like these owners, we know Chelsea's full of surprises, bro. You know what I mean? We went away from Elise, we go to this guy, and then before you know it, we're signing Dewsbury Hall, when I'm sure most of us here didn't think we needed a midfielder. You know what I'm saying? But for me, how I kind of look at it right now, bro, we spoke in the summer, and I told you that this is a big summer to be rectifying a lot of the mistakes that they made last year. You know, one of the main things that they've done so far, they've brought in a set-piece coach. Because, you know, last season we struggled with set pieces, bro. Yeah, they tried to give one to Poch. Poch said, no, I don't need one. Me and my team can handle it. But every single week, we're getting out-jumped in the box. Every single week, when it's a free kick, it feels like it's a penalty, bro. You know what I'm saying? The amount of goals, the amount of points that we dropped from set pieces was mad. So what do we go and do? We go and bring in a set piece coach from Brentford, a team that score a lot of set pieces. You know what I'm saying? We had a problem aerially, right? We had a problem with experience. We go and bring in a Tosin, who's quite tall, and he's got the Premier League experience. You know what I'm saying? And he's a man. When you look at him, he's a man, bro. For me, if we had a guy like Tosin instead of Disasi last season, we win a lot more games. You know what I mean? Because he suits the system a lot more, right? And then you've also got Dewsbury Hall at the minute. Someone who, for me, can get a lot of goals and a lot of assists from midfield. Because that's something that only Palmer was giving us consistently last year. I know Enzo put up a few numbers, but I don't look at Enzo as the guy to go to be getting me the numbers, because he's more of a dictate the game and try crash the box a little bit late and see what he can do around there. And in Caicedo, he was playing as a 6. But we're actually bringing in someone who can play in that left centre mid role and add some well-needed numbers from midfield. So we're not just dependent on Jackson and the rest of the attackers. You know what I'm saying? But Nino, what do you think of, you know, the direction and some of the signings that we've made so far? Do you think that Chelsea are going they've kind of learned from mistakes from last season with some of the signings they've made?
I think we'll learn about the mistakes thing a bit later on if we've learned from our mistakes. But in terms of the signings that we've already made, I've warmed up to the Dewsbury Hall signing. At first, my initial reaction was, why do we need him? But now I understand that we might have some loans out in those areas. We do know that we've struggled with injuries as well. We know that Enzo played for an injury for the majority of the season, and we argued that we had depth, but maybe we didn't actually have that much depth. So it doesn't seem so bad. And when you look at his age, he's ancient. He's experienced, right? He initially comes in and he has that role of, you know, and I won't be giving him more like with other signings that we've had previously, like with younger ones, we've said, okay, give them time. They're going to take time. But with someone like Dewsbury Hall, yeah, okay, come, but hit the ground running, right? Your experience, you've played in the Prem, you've played under Maresca, you've got some familiar faces. So I'm not too worried in terms of him settling into the squad. Hopefully that's easy. But yeah, it wasn't too high risk. He's not a no-name as well. So yeah, it's good that he's obviously played under the manager. As for someone like Tosin, again, Premier League experience, you don't worry about that. He's a very physical guy. Potentially, we know that aerially we struggle. Like you say, for set pieces, that's something that can only perhaps strengthen us in terms of set piece defending. He's quite comfortable on the ball. So again, it's a low risk signing in terms of experience and him coming in, you know, he knows the Premier League well. So yeah, and then as for the youngsters, can't say much. Obviously Esteval Willian, that's one for next year to look out for. But we're seeing
Mark Gill. We brought in Mark Gill as well. Do you know much about him?
Mark Gill, yeah, well, I can't say I've watched him really. I mean, he hasn't really played for Barca that much either, has he? But again, it's a low risk signing. You're not paying too much for him. And the fact that he's happy to move away from Barcelona, you know, kids dream about playing for Barcelona. Maybe he doesn't see himself being a regular starter there. Perhaps, you know, he's been sold a project that he will be competing, perhaps with Nicholas Jackson getting more game time. But I do think he'll get minutes because, you know, we're going to be in the Conference League. We've got domestic cups to play. We've got the Premier League. So minutes will be available. At the end of the day, we can't rely on Nico Jackson to be the striker next year that's still going to bag us 25 goals. Hopefully he will be, right? But it's unfair to expect that. Does Mark Guy come in and produce numbers? Maybe not. But, you know, again, I'd like to see him play. He seems bright from what I've seen him play at Barca. So yeah, I'm not too disappointed, but again, I think there are still areas we need to address, and I hope that moving forward in the window, you know, the left back situation, that's going to need addressing. I don't think we're going to get a goalkeeper really in this window, but perhaps could have been useful. But I think Maresca's made it clear that he does fancy trying out Robert Sanchez, so not too sure if we go in for a keeper. But yeah, perhaps a winger as well. But yeah, we'll see how it unfolds.
Yeah, no, we'll definitely see how it unfolds. And for me, I think Gil is quite a shrewd signing. I think this year for me, the main thing that I said was I'm not looking at big names like the likes of CB and that. I'm looking for the right profile. Because what happens is when you just look at the big name, you don't know if they're going to fit what you're trying to build at the minute. You know what I'm saying? And for me, I'm actually quite lucky because I've got Y-Scout, so I can watch games back in full. You know what I'm saying? So I watched Mark Gill back. Most of his games that I was watching was him when he was playing for Barcelona B. But there was a few clips where I was watching him in the first team, right? And first of all, one of the main things that stands out to me is his physicality for an 18-year-old. He's quite big. And even coming through the academy, you could clearly see that he's bigger than the rest of the kids, you know? And straight away, he's got the natural instinct in front of goal. Left foot, right foot, he seems a lot more composed than Jackson. And when it comes to running in behind Nino, one of the main things that I speak about with strikers, yeah, is you need to be able to time your runs. The same way that with wingers, I speak about wingers, the bare minimum I expect for a winger is to be able to take on your man. You know, you can't be having a striker that's always offside. Remember Havertz, every single game is offside. You get about 10 offsides from the guy, you know. But Mark Gill, the way he times his runs is very, very intelligent, right? And like I said, for me, he plays beyond his years. For me, 5 million euros, you know, it's a low risk. And like I said, if it ends up playing well and you end up flipping him in the end, you're going to make profit on him. But for me, I don't want us to panic and go and bring in a striker who's not going to be a proven goal scorer right now. I don't want to stockpile and bring in more strikers that are unproven. If we can't find anyone right now that's proven, we can't afford them. I'd rather Mark Gill and Jackson fight it out, in my opinion. Some people try to tell me, oh, how's he going to play? How's he going to start ahead of Jackson? Bro, if he's playing well and he's bagging more than Jackson, why can't Jackson be dropped? You know, Jackson's not undroppable right now. The only person who's undroppable in our team right now is Cole Palmer. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I think a lot of people that don't know about Mark Gill are shitting on the signing because they've never heard of him and it seems funny. But when you actually speak to Barcelona fans and you actually watch the guy, he's very good, bro. And out of everyone, Sesko, Duran, or Morodian, he's impressed me the most. I'll be real with you. He's impressed me the most. Well, I can see CB smiling and that, yeah. What do you think of the signing?
Seriously, hearing this stuff, though. You get,
no, for me, it's just look. I really hope we go back in for Osimhen later on in the window. But in terms of like Mark Hugh and all of that, look, I get it. Shrewd signing. We could flip him if he doesn't really work out for us. He will improve. He will get better. So long term, it ain't really anything that's a loss for us. But I've seen like 3 minutes of the brother. I just know he's meant to be a pure 9, and I guess it's a different profile to what we already have. So that's a positive. Good, he'll get Conference League minutes, which is the perfect place for him to develop. That's also another positive. In terms of where he plays and in terms of whether he actually is at the level for Chelsea.
No, he's definitely a lot of these guys. I
don't think it's a bad signing in the case that worst case scenario, he'll get better. You sell him on for more money, whatever. I don't care. But I'm not thinking you build the team around this guy just yet. You have to show that.
Facts. And this is what people like fail to understand. We're not saying that these guys are ready to play for Chelsea, but the reality is our club have signed them. So all we can do as fans is go do some research and look at them and see how they can fit into the team.
Just you know what I'm saying? But give the kid a chance. I hear that, but
yeah, and see how they can fit into the team.
See what he's got. That's the only way I can judge a player.
Bro, he was meant to be the next guy coming through their academy, yeah. Because even when I was watching his games in the academy, he was playing with Yamal. Yamal's 16 years old. No one talks about his age. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, he's 18, but he's a big brother. Big physical brother for 18-year-old.
It's an amazing transfer, but I'm waiting to see that first.
Yeah,
to do that.
It's the expectation that you think is going to do well. Because as a whole, I look at Barcelona and La Masia. When have Barcelona ever developed or brought in a striker from their academy? The last person I can think from the top of my head is Bojan Krkic, who ended up at Stoke. He was meant to be the next Messi. I look at Icardi. He didn't really take off in Barcelona. He went elsewhere. But naturally, this window in totality isn't, excuse my French, I know there's a lady here, is an absolute shit show. if we're being honest. We went into the window with the idea of that we needed a goalkeeper, a centre-back, a left-back, potentially a Gallagher replacement in midfield. So I'm not really mad at Dewsbury Hall because I look at him like the Gallagher replacement or Chuck, whichever one of the two, and a striker. All the Elise say and the winger stuff was bonuses. The priorities were there naturally. As a collective on the fan base, we thought we was under the impression that we're spending within 70 to 100 million on a striker. Whether it was Osherman, whether it was Gaio Keres, whether it was Sheshko, these were the names that were floating around. So how now we have been given Mark Gaio for 6 million, who you just said the majority of the clips that you've seen of him are from the Barcelona B team. Now,
he's not going to play ahead of Lewandowski, bro. He's not going to play ahead of Lewandowski right now, is he? A world-class striker.
Well, then that's what we should be shopping for, no? This is the thing. This is the problem. If you get what you shop for, if you're shopping for these academy B-level strikers, don't be surprised when it's crunch time in the season and we can't get goals, or we're struggling to touch top 4 again, and all of these things. This is what I'm really upset about. Same with Tosin. Let's just really break down this transfer window. We've got Omari Kellerman for 19 million. Do you guys know Omari Kellerman?
I can't even keep count. But I don't. With him, let's be real. We ain't gonna see him.
That brother's probably going straight to the development team. Like we got how many midfielders already?
This is what I'm saying.
So it doesn't benefit us. So it's not an upgrade then. Him as a signing it's not an upgrade.
Yeah, but it was. I'll scratch your back. You scratch my back with Villa, bro. It was very clear to see what they did there. Very clear.
It was fraudulent. It was fraudulent. It was,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Tosin on a free. Now Tosin could end up being a great signing. Physically, he's tall, he's imposing. He looks like he plays the ball on his feet. He's played under Maresca before. He could end up being a great signing. But is he better than Chalobah? Can you guarantee that? Is he
arguably he is.
Silva?
He is, yeah.
All right,
in terms of the system, yeah. Arguably he is, bro. His ball playing ability is clear of Chalobah. Clear.
This is what everyone keeps. How come now with football, when we talk about a centre back, the first thing we talk about is the ball on his feet? Oh yeah, he's ball playing.
This is modern day football, bro. This is modern day football. You need to be good with the ball at your feet.
I'm waiting with Tosin too because I've heard positives and negatives about that guy. It's just yet another free transfer, so it comes out as something that can't be a negative. But in terms of the window,
it's
not been great so far. I hear it. It's just we've known that the Euros and Copa America was going to slow down a lot. So I'm just hoping as soon as both tournaments are done, things start to kick on a little bit, because then you'll start to see the Gallagher situation take shape. Maybe we end up trying to get Lukaku off because now Belgium are out to the Euros, for example. That's the only hope. If not, and it's more of this, then yeah, look, I understand some of the complaints. Yeah, because we do need to get a big profile striker on top of Mark Hiu right now. Hiu's all right. If it's just him, then
that's the thing. It's gonna look underwhelming.
We might fucked again.
We know last season our finishing was a problem. But honestly, when you watch Mark Gill in front of goal, yeah, I don't see him missing the same amount of chances as Jackson, bro. Like, he's a lot more composed and he's more of a natural striker. Even when you just look at his movement and his heading in the box, you can clearly see this is a guy that knows how to play that role. Jackson, for me, I think is a better winger. I think he's better.
Is Mark Gu better than Datro?
Let me know if it's better, guys.
In terms of in front of goal, I'll probably say he is. I'll probably say he is in front of goal. I'll probably say he is. I can't lie. Fofana's good. I wanted Fofana to get more minutes, man. But it's a shame. It looks like he's gonna be another one that gets sold. But Nino, what do you think about this? We saw some news yesterday come out from Fabrizio on Ben Chilwell at the moment. Nothing is imminent, but it's possible for him to leave, especially if a left-footed defender is signing. This is a player that CB said he'll go to war for, yeah, and no one should get onto him because he helped win the big airs. He helped win the Champions League. Bro. You know what I'm saying? What do you think about this, Nino? Are you happy to see Chilwell go off?
Sorry, I might upset you, CB, but in terms of looking for the future and how reliable, look, I have to put sentiment aside here and look at Ben Chilwell and what, in terms of availability he's offered, it's not been much, right? Very injury prone. And as much as I love to believe players get injured, they come back. We've seen Ben Chilwell come back and get injured again and be out for ages again. And it's becoming a reoccurring pattern. And unfortunately, with some players, it just doesn't get better. And Ben Chilwell, part of our Champions League winning campaign, an absolutely phenomenal left back. But post that, it's just not quite been the same. And I've said that we need to address the left back area because we're looking at Marc Cucurella potentially being first pick, which fair enough, I think he's earned it with the end of last season. And, you know, he's been one of Spain's best players, I dare say, in this the Euros tournament as well. So I'd say it warrants him to be first pick next season, but we need a backup, right? Because frankly, Levi Colwill, don't want to see him playing left back again. You know, leave the kids alone. And who else do we have? No one, unless, you know, we can get someone. In an ideal world, we get a Malo Gusto equivalent as a backup on the left, right? But with Ben Chilwell, you've got to put into consideration, you know, he's on expensive wages. Who takes him? You know, who buys him? We are also not going to sell him for pennies, right, at the end of the day. But I just don't think we'll ever have a fit Chilwell again. So is it worth hanging on to a player that you'd never really know is going to be there for you? So at one point, sentiment has to, make you level-headed and see the bigger picture here. We're looking for players that can be reliable. Unfortunately, we've got too many injury-prone players now in the squad, so we need to offload.
Facts. And for me, he just doesn't fit the system. When you watch the guy on the ball, he's not comfortable on it. You know, a lot of these fullbacks in modern day, CB, again, going back to what I said earlier, modern day fullbacks now, they need to be comfortable with the ball at their feet. That's why you're seeing the likes of Kyle Walker sticking out. You see Ben Chilwell sticking out because these are classic fullbacks where they're just up and down. You know, they go up, they whip it in, they might get you goals here and there, and they can defend going backwards. But Ben Chilwell has gotten worse defensively. He wasn't the best one-on-one defensively, but now he's gotten worse. It's like everyone knows when they come up against that guy, they can just do him. You know what I'm saying? And on the ball, even his ball striking's got worse. His decision-making in the final thirds got worse. Remember that game when we played against Man City and he could have literally just played it across to Sterling? Yeah, I was even at that game. I'm screaming, Ben, bro, he's there. You know what I mean? Sterling's right there to just tap it in, you know? So for me, it's time to move on. I'm not going to disrespect the guy because, yes, he helped us win the Champions League. Him and Reece James were our only little bit of creativity that we had in our team because once again, Roman, who you think's perfect, CB, did not want to, you know, bring in a creative midfielder after we lost Cesc Fabregas. Yeah, we had Kante running about with Kovacic and Jorginho. Where the hell is the creativity? You know what I'm saying? All the creativity was coming from Ben Chilwell and Reece James. But like Nina has said, he's on 200k a week, can't stay fit, and unfortunately, he cannot work in this system. You know what I mean? But Lewis, what do you think about Ben Chilwell potentially leaving, man?
Yeah, let's go, man. I spent all year worried they were going to get rid of Cucurella. Thank the Lord. There's some sense. Like, Chilwell, thank you for 2021 and all of that, but injuries have killed you. You're not good defensively. You're a press trigger for everybody. You're you're not even decent going forward anymore. Like, it's time. It's time. Like, thank you for the memories and all of that. There were some really good moments. So the volley against Leicester, all the stuff in the run for 2021, first goal against Palace. It's done. It's done. Thank you. Anything more than 20 million, I'll take and run.
Remember last summer, Lewis, when we were going to the barbecue, actually, funny enough, last year, yeah, and you were saying to me, like, I want Ben Chilwell gone. And I said to you, bro, he actually finished the season off well when we finished 12th. He was actually all right when he came back from injury. He created the most chances for us in the team. He was actually all right. I don't like Ben Chilwell anymore.
Lewis Paul was my left back in 22-23 and nobody else.
He wasn't as bad as what he is at the minute. You know what I'm saying? But CB, this is the guy that you want to go to war for. So what's your thoughts?
I'm literally just pouring up for my boy.
He's drowning the tears.
Billy B, man.
He said I'm pouring up. And people, this is an all-timer kit. This could have been an all-timer kit, you know, if we didn't finish 12th. You know what I'm
that
saying?
whole range. Home, away, and third.
It's
Firstly,
crazy.
I just want to highlight the double standards in this fan base when it comes to Ben
You're going to
Chilwell.
bring up Reece, aren't you?
First and foremost, thank you for saying that, Nina. I don't understand how we can say, get rid of Chilwell. Yeah, he won us the Champions League. Sentiment aside, you can't stay fit. And the guy on the other flank is our captain and no one has the same energy for him. One, big up my boy Taddy, man. He's a good guy, man. But literally, the guy, our captain on the other flank is the exact same. I don't understand that. That's first and foremost. Secondly, I don't understand.
I would argue Reece is a lot better when he plays, but everything else I hear. But go on.
I look at the fact that I'm looking at the you can say, yeah, this season he's been poor, etc., etc. But I don't understand why he doesn't have the luxury of poch tax, which all these other players do. Now that the new managers come in, he don't get the clean slate. He doesn't get none of that.
You guys forget that Chilwell was playing left wing under Pochettino, and even then he was still competent. He's been playing out of position. Fair enough, he got injured. You guys blame that the injuries were Pochettino's training tactics, his regimen, and all of that. Hopefully, those things should be rectified with a new manager. I don't understand why he doesn't get the credit in the bank off of the work that he's put in over the past years, the same way Reece James does. As well as that, I don't know why we're entertaining this conversation in the first place. Ben Chilwell just signed an extension last year. He's got 4 years left on his deal, 220k a week. Who is giving him those wages? Honestly speaking. So he's not going anywhere.
That one. Yeah, you know what? I hear you on that.
It's a big stinker.
But in terms of like the Poch tax, I was on to Chilwell before Poch even joined. Yeah, from like 22, 23, I was like, this guy in it. This guy in it. I wanted Lewis Hall staying in off the other two. At least,
bro, you throw me off. You throw me off. You think Ben Chilwell was competent at left wing?
No, he was at the time when he was playing there. He played there against Liverpool, West Ham,
and he literally missed. He was right in front of Alisson. Instead of just putting it in the corner or even playing it across, he kicked it straight at his leg. Competent way.
That just reminds me as well. Another double standard. You're talking about the Wembley semi-final. I was there too, where he didn't play that ball to Sterling. Fair enough. But there was numerous opportunities.
How long was he on for, Lewis? Like, what, 10 minutes? That was the worst, one of the worst cameos I've seen from a player at Chelsea.
Yeah, but like, I don't even blame Chilwell mostly for that game. It's more Jackson and the VAR stuff.
Oh yeah, I don't blame Chilwell for the game, but I'm saying his cameo was just another
shitty Chilwell moment.
But that moment is very funny that everyone crucifies Chilwell for that moment where, once again, on the other flank, Gusto had two opportunities exactly the same where he didn't put the ball there. One of them he didn't put the ball in the box. The second one he hit the cross and it was terrible. There was no slander. Nothing was said. I don't understand.
Because that was more a bad game for Gusto as opposed to Chilwell. It's more of an average performance. That's more the difference.
I don't like this.
Let me ask you then. How do you see Chilwell working in this new possession style system? Yeah, because all last year, I kept telling you, that our left-hand side is grenade football. Sterling, grenade football. Mudryk, a lot of the time, grenade football. Yeah, you've got Chilwell, grenade football. The left-hand side stinks, bro. The ball goes on that side, it blows up. That's why majority of our play kept coming from the right. You know what I'm saying? That's why it kept coming from the right. So how do you see Ben Chilwell working in this new system? Because you want to keep him.
I don't really know what this system is. A lot of the tacticals have been telling me 3-2-5 build up and the inverted fullback and all of this and the wide areas and please, all of that. But if I'm being honest with you, I didn't read football. I didn't learn football from reading a book and all of these type of stuff or FM. So for me, I'm looking at it in terms of the Calafiori guy. I know we're going to talk about it a bit later. I would preferably sign Mark Guy, who's had a better tournament than him, also Premier League proven, also Cobham. I'd prefer to have a Mark Guy there. Keep Chilwell in the left back or swap with Cucurella. I don't mind that. I would have Lavia and Caicedo with each other in the middle. I'd have Sterling on the right because his better games have actually been over the last 2 years with him being on the right with overlapping Reece James. That makes sense. Jackson up top, Nkunku on the left, Palmer in the 10. It works. I don't know why we're trying to do all of these little tinkering, getting rid of leaders in the team. We have no leaders. If Chilwell gets sold and replaced for...
You think Chilwell's a leader?
Chilwell is my leader.
You think Chilwell's a leader, CB?
Every single person...
What's so funny about you lot, CB, yeah? Your whole clan, yeah? I'll call you lot cult. That's what I'm going to call you lot from now on, yeah? You and your little cult, yeah? You lot talk about standards, yeah? But then you're the first person to try and say that the club, you love the club for giving Gallagher a banner, which is crazy. We never gave Kante a banner. I don't think we even gave... Did we give Hazard a banner? I don't think we did.
Kante's got a banner.
Hazard got a banner, yeah? So Chilwell, what's his name? Kante didn't get a banner, yeah? You're talking about standards, but then you want to keep a guy who clearly has regressed in terms of his quality. And I'll be real with you, CB. There isn't going to be a single top side that comes in to sign Ben Chilwell. Arsenal are not going to sign Ben Chilwell. Man City certainly ain't going to sign Ben Chilwell. That boat has sailed already, yeah? Man United, maybe they might sign it because I don't know what they'll do.
They'll do it.
United are dumb enough to go and do something like that, yeah? But I'm actually glad that you mentioned this cauliflower guy, Calafiori guy that we're linked to at the minute, yeah? Obviously, Nina, it looks like Arsenal are ahead of us at the minute for Calafiori. They've presented their proposal to him along with the project and is open to joining them. Chelsea wants to include players in the deal, so let's see what happens. What do you think about this guy? Do you see much of him? I think everyone's going off of the Euros hype at the minute, but what do you think of him potentially going to Arsenal?
I'm not even going to pretend like I watched this guy before the Euros because I didn't. So that's out of the way. What I saw at the Euros, yeah, he was really, really good. I'd argue it's easy to stand out in a team that underperformed massively in this tournament as well. But again, this is a testament to how good he is as a player. Obviously, there's a reason why all the top clubs are suddenly in for him. I think Juventus have been wanting him since January as well, but they've been kindly rejected there on that note. But I personally think he's going to Arsenal. That's just the feeling I have. I don't think Chelsea are going to manage to swoop him for this one. In terms of what he can offer, I think obviously again we're talking about a left-footed centre back, someone that can play left back as well, so quite versatile, someone that's quite confident on the ball, someone that can play confidently at the back, which I suppose is what we need. But again, someone coming to the Premier League, not seen. He's a breakout star from this tournament, right? But again, clearly something to look for the future. But in terms of versatility, yeah, why not? But I think if Arteta is willing to pay, what is it, like 50 million he's being valued at?
Yeah.
I'm not too sure you bring in a young player of that sort for depth. I think, Arteta's got some plans there for him perhaps to be starting more games. But yeah, it's an interesting one. But I don't think Chelsea will get Calafiori, unfortunately.
It is an interesting one, and listen, I'm not going to act like I've seen a lot of this guy apart from the Euros. I haven't even done much research on him. There's just so many players to keep up with at the minute. But I do like what I've seen from him. But I'm not going to overdo it and think, it's the end of the world if we don't sign him. Yeah, because most of us didn't even know who this guy was the other day. We don't watch Bologna. No one's going to sit here and tell me they sit there watching Bologna. You know what I'm saying? So with him, bro, I'm kind of looking at it like, okay, if we miss out on him, it's not the end of the world, because I was looking at someone like a Kirkes anyway. I want an actual left back who can go up and down. With Calafiori, I feel like he's more gonna fit into that back three mode, maybe go into the midfield a little bit, tuck in and invert sometimes. Okay, cool. It might work against certain opposition, but I would rather a left back that can go up and down. You know what I'm saying? Up and down. That's something that Cucurella doesn't really do much. Doesn't really go up and down. He's more invert and tidy in possession and whatnot. But Lewis, what do you think about this guy here? And do you think he's the right sort of signing to be bringing in at the minute?
I'm kind of with you where I want more of a left back, and from what I've been seeing with Calafiori, he's more centre back than left back, and we've already got how many left centre backs? If we're doing that, we need to have a conversation with Badiashile and Colwell and what's going to happen with the pair of them, because someone's not going to get a lot of minutes, and you want to develop both of them. As a player, yeah, like I get the hype. Like I've watched a bit of him in the Euros. That's about it. He looks very progressive. His passing's good. I know aggressiveness is meant to be his weakness. He gives away a couple of unnecessary fouls with Bologna, but that's all I really know when it comes to him. But it feels opportunistic, again, this entire transfer. Like a month ago, he was meant to be going to Juventus, and then that fell through, and now everyone is just trying to pile in on this and cause a bidding war. I feel like we have our own valuation, and like maybe we'll try to supplement that with players and do the whole you take a player, we take a player deal. We're trying to wheel out Casadei to literally everyone who we're trying to negotiate with. So he'll probably be offered, especially with it being an Italian club. Maybe that works. Maybe it doesn't. I'm not really going to care too much because it's not someone that we pinpointed at the start of the window and said, we have to go get him. We've looked at him as a target. We're going to get him no matter what. This is another opportunistic one.
It's a new flavor of the month. Why do our fan base do this where all of a sudden it's just a random name that
agrees? Wow.
Yeah, literally, it's a random name that we don't know, and everyone's just losing their lips over them, and we need them. If we don't get them, it's the end of the world. There's no one at this profile. We don't know him. Is he? Can I guarantee that he's better than Castello Luqueba, who also does the same role? He's also a left centre back. He plays at Leipzig, French. He's going to be in the Olympics. Actually, he's the vice captain for the France team. The Olympics. I look at him and I'm like, he fits the age profile, he fits the model that we're doing. He's the type of player that we're looking for. I look at these type of players and I'm like, why not? I'm not really fast for Calafiori. One thing I will say about this, which just goes to show that the state of our clubs in absolute tatters, is the fact that Arsenal are ahead of us in terms of targets. Now it's normal. It's not even breaking news. It's not outrage amongst our fan base that Arsenal are allowed to take targets from us. We already struggled to take a player from Crystal Palace 2 years in a row. No one wants to talk about that. I look at it like our project isn't attractive anymore. It hasn't been attractive for a while. When I was saying that we're heading
towards, can't be as attractive when you're out of top four for 2 seasons. That's the annoying thing.
100%. Yeah, 100%. because all of the top
It's
players
attractive to an extent, CB, because we've missed out on Olise because we didn't have Champions League. It's attractive to an extent.
Not even that, like with Elise,
we're
I
still
just
able
think
to bring in
it's fine.
Caicedo, Lavio about Champions League, bro. Go on, Lewis.
I look at the fact that we're not offering the wages.
We lost Elise because it was Champions League and not Champions League because it was Bayern.
Yeah,
Bayern's
exactly. Bigger club, bro.
Right now.
It is where it is.
But I'm really, a year ago, even when the Mudryk thing happened, we were sitting languishing in mid-table. Arsenal were competing for the title at the time, and we still managed to take the likes of Mudryk off their hands. But even then, was it really a player decision, or was it because we reached an agreement with the club and Arsenal didn't? We made a better offer to the club. If we really had a choice between the two of us, I would have loved if he went Arsenal instead of here. But who am I to say that? But literally, I look at it now that we're not an attractive club anymore. The likes of Calafiori, which I don't even know like that. If you asked me 6 months ago, majority of our fan base 6 months ago, do you know who he is? They would have said no. But he's even turning his nose at us. We'd rather go to Arsenal. Arsenal are in London, same way we're in London. Arsenal are in Champions League football. Arsenal are competing for titles. Arsenal have other world-class players in the squad. All of those last 3 points we don't have. And it's showing.
But the thing is with Arsenal, as much as right now, yes, they're in a better position. Right now, yes, they're in Champions League. They're yet to win nothing. You know what I'm saying? And we've actually won a trophy more recent to them. We've actually got further in competitions to them. You know, so they can do all the wolfing as much as they want.
I wouldn't say unattractive. Like, we're not completely an unattractive option, but I can kind of see why he's picked Arsenal over Chelsea, as much as I hate to say it. But wages also might play a factor. I'm hoping it's the case that maybe they just offered him crazy money because they did that with the whole Havertz deal.
The thing is, we don't even know right now because obviously it's looking like Arsenal in pole position, And Nina, one of the main things that Fabrizio was kind of spoken about is what Chelsea are trying to do at the minute. We know Chelsea, I call Chelsea a tuck shop now. Everyone looks at Chelsea and they're like, yo, what players can I go get from that club? Because they've got so many men that are not going to make it in the first team. And right now, Chelsea are looking to do like a swap deal with Bologna. And something that I saw yesterday online was that Basel, apparently they've got a 50% clause, 50% that they can get back from Bologna if they sell Calafiori, right? So it actually works out better for them if they get some players as well as the cash, because then they're not having to spend money on players. They can go bring like a Casadei, for example, who's Italian. What do you think about Chelsea at the minute and, you know, trying to do swap deals? It's not something that we really see in English football, to be honest.
No, and also I think in terms of the swap deals, I think they're planning on including someone like a Kepa in these swap deals. Do you know what I mean? I'm not too sure that obviously it makes sense and stuff, but ultimately for me, I don't really care about being in competition with Arsenal for a player. That doesn't bother me. I want us to be going in for the targets and addressing the areas that we need to. And Lewis is right. We know we need a left back. Let's go get a left back, right? Let's not get someone that is perhaps better and has grown up and in his whole career has played as a left centre back, but is versatile and can probably play as a left back, right? Ultimately, we should be going in for targets that we've had on our radar, the scouts looking around. And at the moment, it's hard not to think that we're going in for a player just because Arsenal want him to, right? Yeah, Liverpool have expressed interest, but at the moment, this is what it seems, right? We've placed down an offer and we've all been there. And yeah, like I can't say that I wasn't a little bit happy that we beat them to Mudryk, but now in hindsight, what did that even mean? Now we should really just be going in for the players that we need, we want. If it's a swap deal and it makes sense to offload a player we're trying to get off our books anyway, then yeah, fair enough if it makes sense. But at the end of the day, how much are we going to continue stockpiling with centre backs? Let's not forget how much money we paid for a Wesley Fofana. Let's not forget we're still waiting for him to come back because everyone's putting him in our best 11, right? Because he's meant to be that good, but we still haven't seen him play and we want to, right? That's obviously our first and foremost. We've brought in Tosin, you've still got Badiashile and Disasi who are trying to prove themselves. Levi Colwill, another player that we were so adamant on beating to Liverpool, maybe for them for Brighton, right? To get back our player. But again, I think there's other areas that are more important to address. And like I said, I'm not going to be desperate for a player. I've only watched the Euros, right? I refuse to hop on to the hype train. I'm sure Calafiori could probably be one of the best centre-backs one day. Okay, but is that what Chelsea need right now? I don't think so, not necessarily.
Facts. And listen, you're going to get a bunch of people, unfortunately. CB, if I catch you on the TL, if we don't get this guy and he goes Arsenal trying to slander, after you've just said most of these men didn't even know who he was, flavour of the month. Because you are going to get a lot of people crying online, say, yo, we can't even lock them down. Look, Arsenal have left us. Arsenal have cleared us. You are going to get that online. You know what I'm
I
saying?
would do that based on the fact that the harsh reality is that our project is not as attractive as Arsenal's, which is insane to me. I've never, in my 20 years of supporting Chelsea, I have never seen that before. So, of course, naturally, I'm going
It's
to
a painful reality.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to feel a way about that. I actually want us to sign him just so I can laugh at Arsenal fans and say, yeah, we poached him from you. But this is what it's become. Everything you said, Nina, is spot on. You actually made me think about the fact that with this clear lake model, when we were signing the likes of Casadei, Andre Santos, all of these David Washingtons, etc., it was under the impression that we was gonna either flip them for cash or they were gonna develop and become squad players at the very least, if not key players into our team. But with the likes of Casadei, we're shopping him around in every single swap deal. So I'm looking at the 20 million we just spent to sign him. What did it really do for us? Can we agree that was a waste of money signing him? Was it pointless?
If we end up selling him, or just, I guess it depends on how much value he is in whatever transfer we use him for.
He's going to be more than what we bought him for, man.
20 million or less.
Yeah, this is the thing though, CB. You need to understand that from day one they said this. Like, even if you don't agree with the model of buying young talent and flipping them, this is a good way of actually bringing money into the club, bro. Yeah, because I don't see these man stagnating a lot of these careers by just keeping hold of them at Chelsea in the under 23s and that. They're going to send them out to decent loans, bro. We've seen it already with Omari Hutchinson, brought him in for free. For me, top player, but we know that we've got a lot of players on that right-hand side. Ipswich have come back in and offered us 20 million straight away. We've made from nothing, bro. Yeah, and that's money,
the only good loan.
That money on players like Casadei and that, these guys are not going to make it in the first team. We can reinvest that money in the bigger names that you've been asking for. Yeah, so I see the vision in terms of bringing in the best young talent. So you minimize the risk of them flopping. Obviously, with young players, you never know what's going to happen with their career. Some of them look really promising. They can get an injury. They can get a shit loan. They can get demotivated. The money can get to their head. All of these little intangibles can happen. But end of the day, if you're buying the best of the best, you're minimizing that risk, which should mean in return, you're making profit on a lot of these guys. That's why you're seeing Casadei and that, bro. They get moved.
The theory is great, but the practice of it is terrible. Omari Hutchinson, in my opinion, was the only good loan we put out there. That Fofana was rotten in Union Berlin at the time when he left in January, we were bottom of the Bundesliga, and then he went to Burnley, fair enough. Andre Santos went to Nottingham Forest. He barely got a minute, then had to go to Strasbourg, which is our feeder club, really. And then he actually managed to get some minutes. He was Young Player of the Month. Kudos to him, but wasted 6 months of his development. Casadei, he was getting hounded in Leicester. He came back here, and he was rotting on the bench for us. 6 months of his development. David Washington, we signed. He was rotting in PL2. Even when we had no striker, we had no backup striker. We was playing Broja, and Nico Jackson was in AFCON. He still didn't get no minutes. So we wasted a year of his development. I'm looking at
Poch didn't want to play him. He didn't want to trust him, bro. We know Poch didn't want to trust a lot of the young G's, bro. How many times we saw Tyreek?
I think it was Poch that pulled for Casadei to come back.
I think that was unnecessary.
He fought for Casadei. Exactly, Nina. At the time, I said, bring back Andre Santos, yeah? Because if Caicedo gets injured, if Enzo gets injured, we are in serious trouble. We had Carney that was coming back. We had Gallagher that can play attacking. You had Nkuku that can play attacking. You had Palmer that can play attacking. But you go and bring back Casadei because he's tall. You know, Poch loves height. And then even when he brings him back, he plays him on the wing. He played him on the wing.
Yeah, he was playing.
He would have been playing in the Premier League now. He would have been playing regularly in the Premier League, developing and doing exactly what we sent him out on loan for in the first place. But yet we stopped that. We stopped him from being a championship winner. We stopped him from playing in the Premier League this season. For what? Casadei won't get minutes in the first team at Chelsea this season. Not with all the players you mentioned there that we now have back who would have been starting ahead of Casadei every day anyway.
Exactly, and that's another thing that I want to kind of speak about because we saw some news come out this week about Carney. Fabrizio put out the news about his release clause being 40 million, right? And obviously at the minute, you know, Dewsbury Hall, I'm sure none of us here expected us to sign any midfielders because we're heavily stacked. That's actually one position where I was looking at. I said, I don't want anyone else to come in. Not even young players. Yep. Leave that position.
I disagree, you know. I was actually really happy that we signed him because if it's looking like Gallagher's leaving, I did feel like we needed a replacement from Gallagher. The profile of player in terms of like ball winning, pressing, even the fact that he can play on the left, on the right. Sometimes he can, you know, be in a 10, cover all of those areas. I think that's actually the perfect like-for-like replacement. I actually have no complaints.
I like the signing. What I'm saying, I like the signing. I like the signing of Dewsbury Hall. What I'm saying is, I didn't look at it like we need a centre mid, but I get your take, like CB. It's definitely he's definitely good enough for the squad, and he could definitely start games for us. Because, bro, I spoke about him on my channel. When I introduced Maresca on my channel, I literally said, Dewsbury Hall, this is one guy to look out for, and a lot of the big clubs are going to be after him. If it's not this summer, it'll be at least after one more year at Chelsea. But Lewis, what do you think about the news about Carney? Obviously, this got released. For me, right now, Carney is not untouchable. And what I'm reading from this is if we get a good enough offer, he will get sold, you know, because we've got a lot of bodies in there. But what do you think of Carney as a player? And do you think that we should move him on?
Look, I think Carney's a talent, but this just means he's staying in my eyes, because I don't think anyone's paying 40 million up front for someone who was injured for a lot of last season and hasn't really showed a lot in terms of first team football. We know where his level can be. He's going to get a lot of minutes in the Conference League. And if he shines, I expect us to renew his contract and either raise the release clause or just get rid of it overall. But for now, I don't care. If anything, it gets rid of clubs from being interested, because I'd be very surprised if a club comes in and says we're willing to pay the 40 million outright now. That's what you need with the release clause. So I think it stays, whatever. See what happens next season. If he has a good season, give him another contract.
This is it.
Go on, Nino. With Carney, sorry, go on.
Go on, Nino.
No, I was just going to say that I like Carney. I think, it's a shame with his injury and stuff, but Carney was a big part of preseason last year. And I know preseason doesn't mean much to people, but it was important for Chelsea last season because obviously that's where people started, new players started working under Pochettino, etc. And Carney was pretty crucial in that. He linked up well with Nkunku, Jackson, Mudryk, partly why we looked so good in pre-season, right? We were sold the dream for the Premier League was Carney. And obviously we saw his great finish, one of the few bright sparks against West Ham when we lost 3-1. And I think even when he did come back from injury and he was kind of brought on as a sub, he's a player that looks forward and he looks to always pass forward as opposed to look for the easy pass, etc. And
this is who reminds me of Nina on that. This is who reminds me.
Facts. I agree.
He reminds me so much of Loftus-Cheek, the way he just grabs the ball.
What it could have been without the injury, then, hey?
Do you see the thing is with Carney, and this is someone
get that comparison too.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know about that one. I'll be yet to see. I don't really know much about Dewsbury Hall, to be fair. But if that's really the case, he's similar to Loftus-Cheek, then wow. But for me personally, with Carney, it's someone
Carney is similar to Loftus-Cheek.
Yeah, I agree with that one. I agree with the Carney comparison. It's someone I know personally, and I hate to say this, but I like the idea of Carney, which everything you said, he picks up the ball off the bench, he's great, he's very one of the most technically sound players in the team, all of those things. But the reality of the situation is he can't stay fit, which is what I always highlight the double standard you guys have with the Ben Chilwell, and similar again, because for him, he can't stay fit. He's been here from Thomas Tuchel, Graham Potter, Bruno Saltador, Frank Lampard, Poch now, and now Enzo Maresca. And we've never seen him have just a run of games. When he got injured,
he was fit on the Potter, though. He was fit on the Potter. Don't forget, Frank Lampard even took him out of the under-20 World Cup, wherever it was, to play him, but he didn't even play. It's only
he only missed 4 games for us before Pochettino joined.
Yeah. And then with under Pochettino now, where I was like, okay, this is starting to become a concern. When Enzo got injured and he had his surgery, I was like, this is the perfect opportunity for Carney to take over and actually establish a role in his team. And he got injured again. And for me, I'm looking at it now like, okay, so you can't even capitalize off the chances because Enzo's not going to be, or ideally, we would all like for Enzo to be fit. If Enzo's injured again going into next season, it's fit going into next season, and there's Lavia now back, and we've got Dewsbury Hall back, and I don't know, one of Gallagher, if Gallagher stays, I don't know. What pathway does he really have into the first team?
This is the thing, though, CB. Just to go back a little bit on the injuries, for me, I spoke about it last season. I think the medical team needs a whole report. I said, this summer, I want to see a 300 to 500-page report where you're telling me about every single player and how you're going to help them out and the changes you're going to make here to make sure that people aren't get injured every single week. Because, bro, we were dropping like flies last season. We couldn't kick on, bro, because of so many injuries. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, what came out after when Poch got sacked, and even before he got sacked, to be fair, I was speaking about his intense training methods because Southampton players spoke about how intense his training was and how he injured players. PSG, same sort of thing. Spurs, same sort of thing. So for me, I kind of look at it like maybe Carney was being overworked because a lot of the time when he was being injured, it wasn't in games, bro. It was in training. So I kind of have to look at the manager in a way and think, yo, maybe Poch was injuring this guy and overworking this guy. And one thing that I like about Maresca is the injury records at Leicester last season were amazing, bro. Yeah, go do some research on James Justin and Ricardo Pereira. One of the most James Justin came back from a big injury not long ago, and then Ricardo Pereira had a big injury as well when they got relegated. Yeah, and his injury record ain't great. They stayed fit all season, bro. Not one injury between them because of how they play.
Yeah,
style of play, because of how they play. You're not playing in space. It's not chaotic football where guys are running about and they can get themselves injured. That's why for me, I was looking at this season and saying, yo, this is going to be a big season for Carney. And I don't see him getting as injured as much as what he did last year, because it's not ping pong football, chaotic football. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I don't really see anyone right now paying more than 40 million for him, because he hasn't really proven much in the league. As much as he's got the potential, he hasn't really shown much because he hasn't really been given opportunities. Do you know what I'm saying?
And as well as that, he's on 100k a week. And
yes,
my same point with Ben Chilwell. He's really paying those wages.
Unless he wants to take a cut to play more games. It's maybe like a Brighton coming for him or something like that. Do you know what I'm saying? But just to round off people, yeah, Nina, what's your expectations for this coming season?
Get us back into Champions League football. Simple.
And in terms of the domestic trophies?
Oh, yeah. I mean, look, given the context and everything last season and how poor it was in the league, we played one final and a semi-final, almost played another, right? If next season we're expecting things to be better, which they should be, then I expect the same thing, right? Get us far, win us a domestic cup. We're not in no position right now to be, choosy and picky with what trophy we win, right? I think we're all in mutual agreement. This club, these players, this team needs to lift a trophy really, desperately. Obviously, we're in the Conference League and us Chelsea fans expect us to win that, right? We made fun of Liverpool for being in Europa and not being able to win it because we managed to, right? And ultimately the same. So, yeah, I expect us and I want us to win a trophy next season, regardless what it is. Beggars can't be choosers, right? But, yeah, get me back into top 4 and get me a trophy and happy days.
For me, I'd say, I think I'd want, of course, non-negotiable Conference League. The fact that literally just to piggyback off your point, Nina, 100%. We was in the Carabao Cup final, we was in the FA Cup semi-final. We had a lot of injuries. We had a coach that you guys said weren't good enough. He was tactically inept. He was playing chaotic football, all of this stuff. We're getting incomings. We're getting rid of the players that you guys don't like and don't want. I see at least one domestic trophy, and I would actually want us to be in the title race until December at the very least and fall off, if that's the case, and then we secure top 4 comfortably as well. I don't want us to be last 2 days, we're scrambling for it. I saw Ange take over Spurs, who lost their best player. We were in a mess, and they went the first 12 games unbeaten. They were comfortably in the top 4 until they fell off right at the end. So it can be done. It's easy for us. One thing I would say though is the fact that, because this is a good thing in the sense that we have the Conference League qualifiers in August. So when we really need to hit the ground running. And I've noticed that with teams like with Arteta's run when they finished second the first time last season, and the season before when they missed out on top 4, they finished 5th. Same with Ange this season. It's about how good you start. It's not really about the middle of the season. It's about how well you start the first 10 games. Even under Sarri, we was unbeaten for the first 10 games until we faced Liverpool. And then we managed to finish 3rd in the league. I know we think about that season and we did the 6-0 and the Carabao Cup final, etc. But if we hit the ground running the first 10 games, 15 games of the season, I see us being in the 3rd place, 4th place spot. And anything less than that really would be a disgrace.
Nah, facts. Listen, let me just tell you something. We ain't going to compete for nothing if we can't keep guys fit. That's why it's very key for me that this summer, we sort out everyone's fitness. A lot of these guys are coming back and they're going to feel like new signings. The likes of Lavia, we've barely seen him. With the likes of Nkuku, we've barely seen him. Fofana, we've barely seen him. A lot of these guys are going to feel like brand new signings. And a lot of these guys that we've been missing are starters for us. I keep telling people, if Arsenal didn't have Saka, if Arsenal didn't have Odegaard, if Arsenal didn't have Saliba for majority of the season, they do not compete. And it's the same thing as us. If we have all these players missing, we will not compete. You know what I mean? We need to bring in the right additions as well. But I'm glad, CB, that you mentioned some of the fixtures there, Lewis, because I'm gonna speak about that in terms of also your expectations. What's your expectations, first of all, actually, for the season?
Oh, yeah, top 4 and a trophy. In terms of the way the season goes, I actually hear what CB's saying, but I want us to be around top 4, ideally around the start of the season, just based off the fixtures that we have. Bar Man City, it's a pretty decent run for us. It's just around October, November, it does start to get a bit more difficult for us. So I want to see how we manage that. But get me top 4, get me the Conference League, all of that. As long as we don't buck Man City, we should be able to compete for the cups. Hell, we might be able to give them 2 good games as well. So who knows?
The thing is, Lewis, bro, as good as Man City have been, yeah, we always struggle in terms of just scoring. We get so many chances against Man City every single time we play them. Remember under Tuchel, we beat them 3 times in the space of 6 weeks or something like that. And then since we beat them in the Champions League, we didn't score a single goal until last season. They just kept doggying us, bro. That's what they kept doing to us. You know what I'm saying? But look, the first 5 games we've got Man City out at the Bridge first game. You got Wolves after that. Then you got Palace. Then you got Bournemouth. Let me scroll down. Then after Bournemouth, we have West Ham. Nina, what do you expect here out of these first 5 games?
I mean, look, first day of the season, the opener, that's one that, goes any way. Like, regardless who you play, vibes are always high, emotions run high. There is no league form to come off, right? You're just straight into the game. And like with Liverpool, right? First game of last season, I think that game sold us a dream because we expected to just hit the ground running after that. And we said we could win that game. So anything can happen, right, in that one. And then in terms of the rest of the games, obviously, do you want me to talk about preseason or just about how we're going to get on?
Just the start of the season. Just the start of the season here, these 5 games.
Yeah, like Lewis said, it's a decent run to start with. Obviously, Enzo Maresca's got all summer to work out where players fit in his system. Hopefully transfers are sort of done and dusted, so we know exactly like the crop of players we will have available. It's kind of good that, not many players are going off to play in the Olympics either. Some of them, are playing Copa and the Euros. But again, there's enough time to gather things. And it's always, for me, it's important actually how you start a season. It kind of was up and down for large parts at the start of last season. So, hopefully we can change that. But as for the first game, I agree with you, Don. I don't really see Manchester City on the first day of the season as a threat. It's a game that can go either way. And, we should be taking some pride from how we played against Manchester City last season, right?
Yeah,
we scored 5.
Exactly.
Yeah, we conceded 5, but we're not going to talk about that, right?
We didn't lose against them in the league last year.
Exactly, yeah, and we almost beat them in the semi-final as well. That was a game that we could only blame ourselves. So I think we've shown, and obviously it's going to be a different system. It's going to be a different style under Maresca, but I can still judge and take some hope and some pride of what we showed against Man City last season.
Facts. And for me, funny enough, people, out of these 5 games, the biggest banana skin I'm actually looking at is Wolves. Because we've actually struggled to beat Wolves in the past few seasons. Palace,
they did the double over us last season. Crystal Palace, we've beaten them 12 games in a row. Bournemouth, we beat them last game of the season, but we drew them away. I remember that game. Lewis, Poch was doing a madness that game, by the way, when we played Bournemouth away and we had that turquoise kit. I think that was the first game we started left wing. Say that again?
Protect the point.
Yeah, protect the point. West Ham, listen, we should be beating West Ham, man. We need to get back for last season when we lost their 3-1.
Bro, we hate going to that ground. I need that streak over with. We've got 2 wins at that ground since they moved.
You know what I mean? So I'm actually, the only banana skin that I'm really looking at out of these games, is probably West Ham because we're playing them away, and Wolves. Everyone else, I think we can beat them, in my opinion. People will say, Man City, that you're deluded. A lot of the Man City players are coming back late from the Euros and whatnot.
Well, you're including the Man City game in that.
Yeah. Well, we give Man City a good game, man. We always give them a good game, to be fair.
I got a point. I think we get a point from City. I think we beat Wolves. I think we beat Palace. I think we beat Bournemouth. I think we draw against West Ham. I think we beat Brighton.
Well, listen, I hope you're right. But listen, let's finish up with some of the super chats that came in. Big up Ethan. Says here, watch fans up Reece, Fofana and Cuckoo next season when they can't play 5 games in a row. He's quality and he's our best player. Listen, I don't speak about Reece James much. I don't speak about Fofana much because they can't prove their fitness. So listen, again, we'll have to see in it. I want these guys to be fit for at least 2-3 months before I can actually start having conversations about them again.
Yeah, especially with yourself up for the Kunku. We don't have to just say they're going to be injured, but if they are, conversations will be had. I think especially with Reece James, if he has another injury-prone season, I think a lot of people are going to be like, look, if there's an offer, I understand. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
Plus with Gusto as well, people would be comfortable with that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
now we've
100%.
actually got a decent replacement.
100%. Big up Ramadan. He says it. Big up the panel, but CB needs to drop the Chilwell prop.
No, we've been with the Chilwell thing, yeah. Honestly speaking, the Chilwell prop began when I was warring with the Enzo sexuals, and I was telling them every argument.
It's tit for tat then, yeah.
Every argument you can make for Enzo not performing well, you can make with Chilwell. Chilwell also played out of position. Chilwell also played under Poch. Chilwell's also been playing while he's been injured. Chilwell also cooked under a previous manager with Thomas Tuchel. So I looked at that and I'm like, if you're slandering Chilwell, God forbid I slander Enzo, right? That's how I looked at it. But Chilwell, for me, I don't slander no player that's delivered silverware from the team. If you deliver silverware, I'm riding with you to the end. Pause. Whether it's Reece James, whether it's
you gotta let him go, man. He's not actually
Lukaku.
going. You gotta let him go, bro.
Lukaku.
Even Lukaku.
Fair enough.
Genuinely.
Fair enough.
If you win, if you're a winner, then I have to respect it.
Big up Kinsley. He says, let's be honest, people, we are a circus institution. Listen, some people think we're still a circus. For some people like me that are kind of looking at the whole situation, I think we're making steps in the right direction. I think last season, our squad was made to be it looked worse than what it did because of the manager that we had. Everyone can clearly see what Southgate does with England, but when it comes to Chelsea, it's all the players are shit. All the players are shit. It's never the manager. It's always on the players.
That's why, to me, like next season is going to answer a lot of questions, be it positively or negatively. So that's why, like, my vibe this whole summer has just been, I'm observing. I will watch. I will see how we handle the summer window. I will see how the team looks next season. I'll see how we play, the manager, all of that. A lot of questions will be answered. So we'll see.
Facts. And big up Ozzy as well. I've seen you in the chat a few times, yeah, because a few people say this, yeah. Don Ox clearly. This is the thing.
100%.
I don't owe these guys nothing, yeah. What it is, I do a lot of critical thinking. I look at the bad and I look at the good, yeah. Ozzy, after this, go watch the pod that me and CB did, because a lot of the things that they've done bad, me and CB are literally on the same page. But I'm not going to sit here and just keep complaining and keep crying about it. End of the day, we have to problem solve. We have to think of a way to get out of the situation that we're in. Exactly. I'm a realist. That's what I am. I'm a realist. I look at the situation and how it can be out. People crying about why are we signing Mark Gill on that. End of the day, we know the model they're going down. They're trying to buy the best young talent. So I have to go do my research and see what he can do for the team. People laughed at Cole Palmer last season when we signed Cole Palmer. Yeah, I said to everyone, this guy is a baller. Every time I watch him for Man City, he never looks out of place. Yeah, but he's never scored a Premier League goal. He's never done this. He's not going to do anything. He came in, was, for me, the best player in the league last season. You know what I'm saying? For me, personally. Yeah, I think it was better than Foden last season. He ended up getting young player of the year.
What?
If we didn't finish where we did, he might have even got player of the season, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? So people need to stop thinking just because I'm explaining things that it means that I love these guys. No. With Roman, bro, I liked a lot of the things that he did, but at the same time, I hated the recruitment. People would think that I keep saying this. Big up Lee is my guy. They would think I'm the Chelsea League gunner because the recruitment after 2017 was so bad. It was so bad and used to get on my nerves. Yeah, but now I'm actually looking at a clear way of trying to build a team with technical players that can play possession style football, which is what we need in modern days. You know what I'm saying? So end of the day, bro, if they do something good, I'll big them up. If they do something bad, I will criticize them, bro. I'm quite level-headed, bro. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we'll end up on that note. Ozzy,
right
watch the
before we
pod
leave,
that me
yeah?
and CB did. Watch the pod that me and CB did.
Don,
Come on,
right
CB.
before we leave, yeah, just
Go
because you mentioned recruitment, yeah,
Mm.
it's off the top of my head. So the last time we finished outside of European spots, yeah, we go to 11-12. We happen to win the Champions League, but you guys, you Roman haters, don't like to count European silverware. You like to
No, we're not Roman haters. Don't do that.
No,
I love
but
Roman.
listen, you
I love
clear
Roman.
like
Don't do that.
brothers, yeah. So you like to focus only on the league. So we finished 6th in the league. We signed Eden Hazard. We signed Oscar. If I'm not mistaken, we signed Cesar Azpilicueta. I look at that was that window. There's a couple other man there. The other season, the other time when we finished 10th, we signed Morata. We signed Bakayoko. Fair enough, Bakayoko was awful, but he was highly regarded at the time. We signed Alvaro Morata. I'm looking at these seasons. I'm not when we finished 10th. When we finished 5th under Kante. I'm looking at these seasons, and I'm like, okay, at least the recruitment, we wasn't good enough. We fell out our Champions League spots. We brought in top players that brought us back to where we belong. We're finished 6th now. We've signed Omari Kellerman, Aaron, I don't even know. Aaron Assalamu Alaikum from Boca Junior. I don't know if I'm saying his name correctly.
He's good. He's good. You're gonna learn about
according
him.
to what? Your research on why?
Yes, I've watched his games back.
I've
watched his games back.
I need to hear that name again. Who is that?
Anselmino.
Oh, Anselmino. Okay.
Assalamu alaikum. No. CB, do you know what?
I've seen like a 1 minute comp of him too. Yeah.
I've actually watched
come on, man. You can't tell me. You know,
I've watched his games back. He's good. He's actually good. Bro, it's like playing a midfielder.
All right, that's.
He's good. According to Don, like the way he talks about the way he watches games and does his research.
Bro, listen, CB, I will show you. Bro, I will show you right now.
Secret layer with 5 different screens.
Do you want me to show you right now? Actually, let me do this right now on live. Let me do this right now on live.
At the same time.
What we got right here? Yeah. Hold on. Let me do this right now on live. We have Y Scout. Yeah. If I type in Anselmino, oh yeah, because he's already there because I was doing my research on him. I can just go on videos. And I can just go watch all his games.
What's that? The full 90? That's the full 90.
That's the full 90, bro. I can go watch the games back and I can watch all the best. Look, I can watch all the actions, everything, bro. All there, bro. Yeah. All there, bro. Everything back. So, man, I try to get onto me, bro. I do my research before I start slandering players. And I said it on Twitter as well, yeah. On Morodian, don't go anywhere near that guy. He was not ready for Chelsea, but that guy was a mess. And you say, oh, I just back everything that they do. I didn't want that guy to come Chelsea. I said it. When I watched his games back, I said, nah.
So you think Mark Gui better than him, yeah?
Mark Gui's better than him. I've told you, bro, out of everyone, Sesko and that, he's impressed me the most. So hopefully in pre-season, he'll show you what he's on. But listen, people, yeah, I'm going to get this panel back on again. Because again, I want to speak about the recruitment, yeah, specifically with Roman and what's going on, because that's going to be a big show in itself. So I'm definitely going to get this same panel on again. But Nina, love for coming on. Let them know where they can find you.
Thanks for having me, Don. Yeah, Nina's Chelsea Corner on YouTube, and check out my videos. Big up.
CB, let them know where they can find you, my bro. Love for coming on, man.
CB1 Millie on Twitter, Instagram. You can find me on Playback, Celsius Europe, Celsius Degrees in Europe, or you can find me on YouTube, Celsius Europe as well. I'll be a lot more active. Yeah, I'm going to be on Playback right after this as well. You guys are more than welcome to come through as well. We can just continue this.
Big up, man. And Lewis, man, love for jumping on, my bro, man. Let them know they can find you, bro.
Big up, guys. I'll be live on Carefree Lewis G later tonight, so keep a lookout. And yeah, great to chop it up with you, man. Big up.
Love, man. Yeah, now listen, I really enjoyed that, man. And listen, big up the chat every single time. You lot were on fire today. You know what I'm saying? I like a lot of the opinions that I was seeing in the chat today, man. But we'll definitely be back with the same panel, like I said. I'll sort something out with these guys. Everyone, I know people are busy and stuff outside of football and that, so I'll let you guys know. But listen, make sure that you smash up the likes. Like I said, road to 2K. As soon as I touch 2K, I'm gonna do a live calling. Yeah, I'm probably gonna have one of these guys as well to come on with me, and we'll talk to you guys. But listen, up the Chels every single time, man. Love.